and she was always working on something else. And that at a point, I was like, I just think she doesn't like me.
Because I came into her house and I was singing this Kenny Chesney song. And I was like, you and tequila make me crazy. Because there had been a little too much tequila consumed.
Ashton Kutcher's shocking decision to defend Danny Masterson in court has rocked Hollywood to its core. In a bombshell revelation, Ashton's heartfelt letter for his former co-star has sparked outrage, dividing fans and raising questions about loyalty versus justice. Let us dig deeper into Ashton's decision, the unspoken ties that shaped his defense, and the ripple effects it created. An ending no one saw coming. Hollywood's complex web. Danny Masterson, known from That's a Vinny Show, was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison after being found guilty of assaulting 2 women in 2003. While the trial and verdict were shocking, the letters submitted to the court by his friends requesting leniency sparked intense reactions. Among those letters were ones from Ashton and Mila Kunis, his former co-stars and close friends. But the letters held a hidden truth, one that could shake Hollywood to its core. This move stunned many. Ashton and Mila, celebrated as a wholesome Hollywood power couple, faced widespread criticism for publicly supporting Danny despite the gravity of his crimes. In their letters, they described him as a steadfast friend who provided guidance in Hollywood's chaotic world. They highlighted his influence in steering others away from destructive behavior and emphasized his loyalty and support. However, the severity of the accusations and the guilty verdict complicated this narrative. The court's decision and the victims' harrowing accounts made many feel their support was tone-deaf. Writing letters on Danny's behalf seemed to shift focus away from justice for the victims, leaving a sour impression on the public. Hollywood is no stranger to scandals, but this situation struck a different chord. The letters weren't just character references, they were seen as declarations of trust in someone convicted of serious crimes. This choice led to widespread criticism and raised questions about their motivations. They explained their intention to provide a fuller picture of the Danny they knew, arguing that people are complex. Yet many felt that crimes of this magnitude demanded unwavering support for the victims. The backlash on social media was swift and intense. Fans expressed anger, feeling that the letters sent the wrong message, while others defended the couple, interpreting their actions as reflections of personal loyalty rather than an endorsement of Danny's crimes. The debate raged on, dominating timelines and comment sections. In response, Ashton and Mila released a statement clarifying their intentions. They emphasized their support for survivors and expressed regret for any hurt caused, acknowledging they could have handled the situation differently. Their actions sparked a broader conversation about the responsibilities of public figures, the impact of their words, and the delicate balance between loyalty and accountability. For now, Hollywood moves on, as it always does. But the story remains a cautionary tale of what happens when personal bonds clash with public scrutiny. Whether you're a star or an everyday person, it's a balancing act, one that can sometimes tilt too far in the wrong direction. The situation surrounding a public letter supporting Danny Masterson takes on layers of complexity that keep fueling discussions. First, there's the dynamic of loyalty versus morality. Decades of friendship and collaboration in Hollywood create deep bonds, especially in an environment where trust can be hard to come by. People often rely on their tight-knit circles to navigate fame's pressures. But what happens when someone from that circle is accused of something as serious as assault? Decisions to speak on behalf of such individuals may stem from loyalty, but they often don't consider the broader implications. When someone with a public platform defends a convicted individual, it sends ripples far beyond personal relationships. It shapes public perceptions, often unintentionally, and can overshadow the voices of victims seeking justice. Involvement from others close to the situation adds another layer to the narrative. Shared life and career trajectories mean reputations are intertwined, and actions in such partnerships carry consequences far beyond personal intentions. Fans, many of whom admire public figures for their support of various causes, may feel betrayed by their association with controversial stances. It's a stark reminder that actions in the spotlight often carry consequences far beyond personal intentions. The letters themselves also warrant closer examination. They weren't simple notes of character reference, they were deeply personal accounts of how Danny impacted lives. Reflecting on how he helped others avoid Hollywood's darker temptations paints a picture of gratitude and respect. But gratitude doesn't negate accountability, and in this case, the weight of the legal verdict cannot be overshadowed by individual testimonies of character. The backlash faced didn't stop at online criticism. Reputations built on years of work and positive public perception took a hit. For individuals often seen as relatable and down-to-earth, the fallout was particularly jarring. Fans who once admired their openness and authenticity now questioned their judgment. Trust, once lost, can be hard to rebuild, especially in the unforgiving landscape of public opinion. This controversy also reignites discussions about celebrity privilege. When stars use their influence to sway perceptions of someone convicted of a crime, it raises questions about the ethics of leveraging fame for personal connections. Critics argue that such actions can undermine the justice system, inadvertently prioritizing the opinions of the powerful over the experiences of victims. It's a conversation that Hollywood has grappled with time and time again, and this situation is no exception. The victims in this case, whose voices were central to the trial, found themselves overshadowed by the drama surrounding public involvement. This unfortunate reality highlights the need for continued focus on supporting survivors and amplifying their stories. While celebrity narratives often dominate headlines, it's crucial to remember the human impact at the heart of such cases. The justice system's primary role is to serve those who have been wronged, not to cater to the influence of public figures. Ashton and Mila's subsequent apology aimed to address these concerns. They emphasized their commitment to survivors and expressed regret for any pain their letters may have caused. It was a step toward accountability, though opinions remain divided on whether it was enough. Some viewed their response as genuine, while others saw it as damage control in the face of mounting criticism. Either way, the apology underscores the importance of acknowledging missteps and striving to do better. As Ashton and Mila spoke, their words led to questions that couldn't be ignored. The ripple effect of fame and friendship. The aftermath of this saga continues to unfold, with conversations about accountability, loyalty, and celebrity influence taking center stage. Their actions serve as a stark reminder of the complexities that come with navigating personal relationships in the public eye. While their intentions may have been rooted in loyalty, the execution of their support for Danny raised questions that cannot be ignored. When Ashton decided to speak out about his support for his former co-star, the internet exploded with opinions. Everyone seemed to have something to say about why a beloved Hollywood star would stand by someone after such serious accusations. What he shared opened a whole new conversation, not just about friendship, but about how our choices ripple into the lives of others. At 45, Ashton didn't shy away from addressing the topic head-on. He made it clear that his perspective wasn't about ignoring what had happened, but about considering the bigger picture. For him, this wasn't just about his former co-star's actions, it was about the long-term consequences for the people around him, especially his family. He mentioned that his former co-star's 9-year-old daughter Fiona weighed heavily on his mind. He couldn't shake the thought of her growing up without her dad. To him, that felt like a punishment she didn't deserve. But it wasn't just about the family. Ashton spoke about his time working with his former co-star, who he described as a big brother figure. According to him, this person gave advice, steered him away from bad decisions, and helped him navigate the crazy world of Hollywood. It's clear that Ashton's gratitude for those moments shaped his view, even as the public's perception shifted. Mila Kunis also had her say. She described Ashton's former co-star as a friend who always had her back. Mila shared that during her younger years, he had been a guiding force, someone who genuinely cared about her well-being. He'd warned her about the dangers of the Hollywood party scene and kept her grounded when things could have gone off track. For her, this wasn't just about loyalty, but about recognizing the positive impact he had on her life. Both emphasized that their support didn't mean they were turning a blind eye to the pain of the victims. They acknowledged the seriousness of the situation, but explained that their letters were about showing a side of their former co-star that others might not see. To them, he was more than the headlines. He was someone who had played a big role in shaping their lives for the better. Their support wasn't unique. Other members of That 70s Show, like Deborah Jo Rupp and Kurtwood Smith, as well as actors like Giovanni Ribisi and Billy Baldwin, spoke up too. Billy, who is married to the former co-star's sister, shared heartfelt words about his loyalty and kindness. These testimonies painted a picture of a man who, in their eyes, was a dedicated friend and family member. It raised questions about how personal experiences can clash with public perception, but the legal side of things couldn't be ignored. His conviction was tied to incidents from over 20 years ago, and the case itself had been a long, drawn-out process. Back in late 2022, his first trial ended without a clear verdict. By May of the following year, the court reached a decision, convicting him. The case had its complications, including ties to the Church of Scientology, to which both he and the accusers belonged. This connection added another layer to an already complex story. Ashton and Mila's decision to publicly support their former co-star wasn't without backlash. Many questioned why they'd risk their reputations for someone convicted of such serious crimes. For the couple, it seemed to come down to their personal history with him. They weren't defending his actions, but rather standing up for the version of him they knew. The mentor, the friend, the brother figure. Reflecting on his time with Danny meant revisiting memories of their earlier days in Hollywood. They weren't just colleagues, but close friends navigating an industry notorious for its challenges. He recalled how Danny had stepped in during critical moments, offering advice that likely saved him from making irreversible mistakes. Hollywood can be a tough place, especially for young actors thrust into the spotlight with little preparation for the pressures of fame. His support wasn't just helpful, it was transformative. Mila's experiences also painted a similar picture. She shared anecdotes about how his guidance helped her stay focused on her career when distractions were everywhere. Growing up in the entertainment industry isn't easy, and it's even harder when you're a teenager trying to balance fame with normalcy. As she described, he acted as a stabilizing force. His advice went beyond just work. It was about life, friendships, and the importance of staying true to oneself. Their shared experiences made it clear why they felt compelled to speak up. They weren't just advocating for a friend, they were acknowledging the role he had played in shaping their lives. For them, it wasn't about excusing his actions, but about recognizing the complexities of the person they knew versus the actions brought to light in court. The backlash they faced was intense. Social media was flooded with opinions, with some accusing them of being out of touch with the gravity of the situation. Others saw their actions as a betrayal of the victims. It was a difficult position to be in, but their decision to speak up highlighted the challenges of navigating personal loyalty in the face of public scrutiny. For the public, the story brought up broader questions about how we reconcile different sides of people. His conviction was based on serious allegations, and the legal process brought a sense of justice for the victims. At the same time, testimonials painted a picture of a man who had positively impacted many lives. It's a reminder that people are rarely one-dimensional, and our relationships with them can be deeply personal and nuanced. The ties between the case and larger forces brought even more challenges to light, a modern moral dilemma. The involvement of the Church of Scientology added another layer of complexity to the story. The organization's role in the case, as well as its connections to the parties involved, raised questions about how institutions can influence outcomes. For some, this aspect of the story was a distraction, while for others it was a crucial piece of the puzzle. Either way, it added to the public's fascination with the case and the players involved. The decision to write letters in support of him also sparked a broader conversation about the role of character references in legal proceedings. Critics questioned whether personal testimonials should carry weight in cases involving serious crimes. Supporters argued that such references provide a fuller picture of a person's character, which can be important in determining sentencing. It's a debate that goes beyond this case and speaks to the broader challenges of balancing justice with compassion. In reflecting on the situation, their actions can be seen as an attempt to navigate a difficult and emotionally charged situation. Their letters were a way of expressing gratitude for the impact he had on their lives, while also acknowledging the gravity of the situation. It's a delicate balance, and one that highlights the challenges of being in the public eye. The story served as a reminder of the complexities of human relationships. It's easy to judge from the outside, but personal connections often defy simple explanations. Their decision to support Danny, despite the backlash, was a testament to the depth of their relationship with him. It was a decision that came with risks, but for them it was a way of honoring the impact he had on their lives while grappling with the reality of his actions. As the conversation continues, the story of Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis, and Danny Masterson serves as a powerful example of how personal experiences shape our perspectives. It's a reminder that even in the face of controversy, the human element remains at the heart of every story. To understand why Ashton did what he did, we need to dig into the history. Ashton and Danny go way back. We're talking decades of friendship. They weren't just co-stars, they were like family. When you've known someone for that long, you see the sides of them that others might not. You share memories, experiences, and a bond that's hard to break. That's the context Ashton was coming from when Danny's family asked him and Mila to write character letters. The idea was to give the judge a fuller picture of who he is as a person. At the time, it probably didn't seem like a huge deal to them, but it turned out to be a very big deal. Public reaction to those letters was swift and harsh. People felt that by writing them, Ashton and Mila were undermining the seriousness of the crimes he had been convicted of. Even though that wasn't their intention, it's easy to see how it came across that way. When you're dealing with something as serious as this, perception matters a lot. Their letters ended up being viewed as tone-deaf at best and deeply hurtful at worst. Faced with this backlash, Ashton and Mila decided they needed to address it directly. They posted a video on Instagram explaining their actions. Ashton's tone was somber as he acknowledged the pain their letters had caused. He explained that they wrote them at the request of Danny's family and that their intent was to provide insight into the person they had known for over 25 years. Mila added that they have always supported victims and will continue to do so. They emphasized that their letters were not meant to discredit the victims or the judicial process. It was a heartfelt apology, but for many it wasn't enough to erase the damage. This situation highlights a broader issue, the conflict between personal loyalty and public accountability. Ashton and Mila were put in a position where they felt they had to support a friend they'd known for most of their lives. But in doing so, they inadvertently sent a message that seemed to downplay the gravity of the situation. It's a tough spot to be in, but it's also a reminder of the responsibility that comes with being in the public eye. Danny's wife, Bijou Phillips, has also been a key figure in this story. Throughout the trial, she's been a steadfast presence, showing up in court and standing by her husband. It's clear she's deeply committed to him, even as the world watches and judges. She's tried to keep a low profile, but her actions, like wearing her wedding ring as she left the courthouse, speak volumes. Bijou even wrote her own letter about his character, adding yet another layer to this complicated narrative. Meanwhile, he is planning to appeal his sentence. That's his right, of course, but it's not winning him any sympathy points. The case has already been a roller coaster, and this is just the latest twist. For Ashton and Mila, the fallout from their decision to write those letters is ongoing. They faced criticism not just from the public, but also from fans who feel disappointed or betrayed. It's a stark reminder that even well-meaning actions can have unintended consequences. What do you think? Should personal loyalty outweigh public accountability in cases like this? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates.